My name is Ellie, welcome back to my channel. Today, more makeup, Natasha Denona Gold palette. I have a decently specific look. We'll see what actually ends up on my face. Hair is dirty and kind of up, so we're just going to ignore that. I've been messing with it and trying things, and I didn't feel like it today. It just feels like a nice lazy day, so I'm going to commit to that. I think I'm gonna go with Aria and Teak. Maybe just Teak. Yeah, we'll just do Teak in my crease. Just because I want to. This has a lot of mustardy tones, which is appropriate because it is the gold palette. But I'm not really in it for the gold tones today. I want to do a very specific picturesque look with Aria or Aurora, and it does not involve the mustard tones in some of these mattes. And we do have a decent, like, it is still a yellowy tinted brown, but it's not as mustardy as the other ones. This one's a little bit more regular brown. I do love the tones that Natasha Denona puts in her palettes. I don't know how she takes what would be just so standard shades, and there's something just really lovely about what she ends up putting. Like, this should be a really standard brown, and just some combination of the undertones makes it surprisingly unique. Like, I don't know why it looks unique to me, but it does. Maybe it's that so many of my other browns came from similar companies. Like Urban Decay's mid-tone browns ended up very similar because of the popularity of, I think it was Naked and Buck, were their two really, really popular brown transition-y crease shades. So they kept that tone across stuff, and because those were so popular at that time, other companies used the same types of tones. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Seems kind of crazy to look back and realize that Natasha Denona was not super popular on the scene at that same time. So adding so much, praise to color stories and choices is not really the same, because she and her team, though probably doing work with those tones, were not making their own. So we don't know if back then she would have made the same type of very, very neutral palette that Urban Decay became so popular for. I think. I don't know. Nobody knows. Okay. I'm gonna put on Varus, and then we'll see if I need to deepen with anything else before putting on Aurora. Just because this brown is very pretty, but it's not super deep. And Natasha Denona's mattes do a decent job of adding their own amount of depth, in that I don't always feel like I have to layer a darker shade to get the crease that I want. think I might have actually matched the browns for once. I normally do not get them the same amount in. Okay. I had a whole rant. I've had several rants that I've like thought of after doing my makeup, and then I don't do them while playing with my makeup. The main one I remember is the strangeness of pro marketing. Oh, that's so pretty. I got all excited about potentially being able to move around the pans in the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Norvina Pro palettes because they are marketed as Pro palettes. It wasn't so much in like the social media campaigns, but they are listed as Pro palettes. The website description goes into these are Pro pigments and this and that, and having, you know, row names instead of individual shade names, it all leads into this implication that it is a palette aimed at professional makeup artists that just happens to be widely available because a lot of pro products are kind of put in through either a program where you have to apply and get the discount and all that stuff, or there are plenty of things. I don't know if makeup is as much as it was with hair stuff, in that you can't buy it without a specific license. And I was super excited that it was going to be that if I could get the right magnet, that maybe I could take those pans out of the Anastasia Beverly Hills thing and move them around, which makes sense if it's a pro palette. Pro makeup artists are going to want their stuff grouped differently than the way things are put together. Like, this layout of colors for a pro artist is not good. They would want the mattes, the midtones, the dark tones, maybe the textures at one end. Like, they would not want it flipped around and jumbled like this. So, the option of making that palette, which is a different palette type than they had previously had, it's like, oh, maybe it's magnetic, so that you can move the stuff around. It's gonna be cool. I'm very excited about this thing that I've thought of, and I didn't want to rip it apart without checking, so I looked around. I couldn't find any videos of people taking the palettes apart. I'm gonna drink some coffee. I have a rant about this awesome mug later. I'm gonna go into Lime Chrome to lighten up Aurora. I did this in my other thing, and it's really, really cool looking to me. So, it made sense in my head to have a different type of palette layout so it could be magnetic, so they could move the shades around to, oh yeah, you can see, cool turquoisey tealy thing, just kind of teal. It does cool things and lightens up what is otherwise a very mid-tone shade to me. So I thought it would be really cool if they had changed that palette and made it so you could move them around and make your own color story, switch up the layout to be best for you. But I hadn't seen anybody depot them. I looked around and I didn't see any physical moving around. I saw a lot of people, you know, editing and manipulating the palette to show the color story, but not people who had physically moved the shades around or had depotted, so I couldn't find out if they were easy depots or complicated depots. Like, these ones, if I wanted to dig into it, these palettes should be held in by magnets, not glued in. So if I got the right little thing, I could just pop them out and move them around to whatever arrangement of shades I wanted. I am going to take Sparks on my inner corner. We'll see how that goes. This is a hit and miss shade because of how chunky glittery it is. It doesn't always adhere the best, but when it does, it's really cool looking. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cool since it is listed and put on the website like a pro product to be able to move it around. And I couldn't find any clarification on if anybody had managed to move it around like magnets or if it was glued in. So I emailed, looked around the website, did clarify in the description that it's listed like pro pigments, like it, you know, implying it's for pro artists. And got a response back when I couldn't find anything about, you know, the production of the palette. Because if they had made it magnetic, that would have been really cool. It would have been a nice selling point, being like, oh, these nice magnetic shades you can move around. It's really cool. I'm going to take a touch of Log to deepen up my outer corner. And so I emailed ABH, being like, hey, I just wanted to clarify. I can't find anything on the palette about whether it's the pans are glued in or held in magnetically. They responded back pretty quickly, which I do appreciate. That they are glued in. Why? Could have been so cool if you'd made it so, like, yeah, we have this palette, we set it up, we made it so you can mix and match and make your best color story because we didn't name the shades. There's no point if you're going to move them around. You can, you know, mix and match, and if they were magnetic, I was going to want to rearrange the setup of that palette, and I was going to potentially want the new Norvina Pro palette that's coming out, because then I could chuck out the lime shade that I don't think goes with that new color story and put in one of the deeper mattes from that one. And I'm just very sad and disappointed that they would do something like that and that they missed an option. That's, again, I feel like they're missing so many different cool things they could do with, put on some bronzer now, if they had committed to using, like, making it a real pro product. There's a lot of things that are listed as pro products that are not necessarily the way you would want. Keep in mind I'm saying this all as not a professional makeup artist. I do not make a living doing makeup either on myself or on others, which doing your own makeup for profit is still makeup artistry. Like, it is still a thing. I'm not that fancy. And I think that might have been more who the Norvina subcategory is listed towards. They could have been marketing it towards individual artists who don't do makeup on others, just do their own artistry. But a lot of people, apparently myself included, hear makeup artist and think like working set artist, somebody who does stage makeup, set makeup, special occasion makeup, bridal makeup, those types of going out and doing makeup on clients with their kit for a profit. And there are some brands that make a lot of their hype around being those types of products. Like MAC for a long time was hyped up because they are listed as a makeup artist type of brand, used on runways, used on sets and everything, and that helps justify the packaging being less awesome and all of that. And if you go on MAC's like Instagram and stuff, a lot of it is their products being used and shown by different makeup artists in very editorial, very high fashion ways. And they have done that thing where they have pre-made palettes, but you can pop the pans out and move them around. You can buy refills. That was the other thing. I was like, if you could make those Norvina Pro palettes move aroundable and buy refills. Because pro artists are going to use different shades all the way through before even making a dent on certain shades, just like everybody. And if you decide, okay, I want the Norvina Pro palettes, I want to go through and use them all. I'm going to use these two blushes. I'm going to go through, I'm going to use them all, and that's going to be my colorfuls and a good chunk of my neutrals because of the neutral shades in those palettes. You're going to want to, most likely, as you use up shade after shade, if you like that formula, if you like that color story, if you really, really like that shade enough to finish it, you probably are going to want to refill it. Because working artists will go through makeup products way faster than the average consumer because they have more face. They're going to use, one or two bronzers over and over and over again, and they're doing a lot more faces of makeup than somebody who does their own makeup. Even if they do the makeup a couple times a day, most working artists would assumedly go onto set and stuff to do several looks. Like you'd show up to a bridal party and do the party, not just one person. And that's several faces of makeup instead of just one. So, I have a new reason to be annoyed at the ABH Norvina thing, is that they are kind of but not quite. Like they put pro in the name, they're listed as pro pigments. It's not really following the logic all the way through to what makes a pro product. And it could have been. It could have been a combination of, hey, these are available for everybody, but you can make this your new, forever palette of, warm neutrals, of purple tones, of pinky tones. Because if somebody is super into the formula on the consumer side and, absolutely loves the shit out of the more purpley palette, they are also going to eventually go through those shades. And if they could replace it, pop that pan out and put in a new one, I think a lot of people would. Same thing with Natasha Denona. I would love if I ever managed to get rid of a good chunk of my collection and am down to just Natasha Denona palettes, if I find that I have, my favorite crease shade or whatever, and I go through it, I would love to be able to buy a single pan that fits in the palette that I can just take out the empty and pop the new one in and keep going. it's unlikely I'm ever going to get to the point that my collection is small enough that I would say, I finished my favorite shade or my favorite transition from Natasha Denona and not have 4 more that I need to pan because my makeup collection is just looming. But that's just, it's such an easy way to try and build brand loyalty. Say, hey, MAC did it, of, hey, you like this shade? You can buy the shade 8 million times, over and over and over again. Use it, finish it, buy another. I'm just so sad. I do think ABH did a good job on that lip palette as a pro item, because it's not, in theory, pro artists have more experience consistently mixing shades to make a custom whatever and having all those panned out and a little spot, and putting stuff on with a lip brush would be more common for a pro artist. And a lot of people picked it up and were like, this is cool, but it's super impractical for going out day to day. Yeah, because it's not really the type of thing that is well marketed to the day-to-day consumer. Because a lot of pro artists already take lipsticks they like and depot them into similar type packaging so that they can just put them on with a lip brush. You can sanitize a lip brush. You can mix and match the shades very easily with that plan. But like, if I wanted to wear one lipstick all day, having to remix that shade each time I reapply it is a lot less convenient than just having a pre-mixed one that I like in the shade in a tube. But even then, that's kind of counterproductive because I did get a lip brush specifically so I could use depotted lipstick more. So yeah, I feel like there is a trend of saying this thing is cool because it's a pro item, whether or not it's realistically suited towards pro artists. The Lorac Pro technically does similar things in that they are color stories geared towards, hey, here's your warm neutrals, here's your cool neutrals, here's your whatever, but you can't move the pans around and you can't declutter and refill pans, but they do, in general, kind of go from light to dark the way I would expect a lot of pro artists likely set up their colors. So, who knows? I'm rambling. I don't have any true experience in making products or in being a pro artist. Because I put the makeup on my face and that's as far as we really get with that. I kind of think that I want to put on Lucky Clover for my highlighter from the Moonchild Glow Kit, just because it'll tie into my pop of turquoise, I believe. Let's see how that ends up actually working for me. I've been using this blush combination almost always with a champagne highlighter. So I was nervous about adding a cool tone on top, but that's actually really pretty. I don't know why I'm ever surprised that Lucky Clover is pretty. It's like one of my favorite shades. It is not likely to be what I purchase when I finish this because I have so many other highlighters. But it did really make it clear to me that I love a green highlighter. Such a pretty shade. And then once I finish that, I get to do new things. I get to try new products. Which is the other reason that my whole thing of like, oh, you can have this and then use it up and then just repurchase the same one. I don't do that. Some of that is that I have so many different things that I need to just move on to the next thing to pan, but also I like trying new things. But I also know there are people out there that like the same thing. They find their favorite, they buy it 8 million times, they pan it over and over again, and they never have any need to try other things. Like, I found my perfect formula, shade, tone, got it. Just need it 8 million times in a row. Even on hair products that I go through much faster, I'm like, but what about this other one? But what about this one? What about this one? It's pretty rare that I buy the same hair product in a row. Which is unfortunate because I was doing that with the one product that Target decided to stop carrying that I loved. Oh, I'm still mad about that. Okay, so as we're finishing up, side rant about this lovely mug. I got a couple. They are from Mudbug Creations. It's a shop on Etsy. I will try to link it in the description. It is one of my friend's roommates from college. She makes these gorgeous ceramics. Most of it's mugs, because mugs are cool. And I always saw them as like, oh man, I want one. And they were never in stock when I had a good place in my budget for, because I felt like if I was going to order one, I wanted several. Because she has the really cool, flying saucers theme. She has a bunch of them that are different dinosaurs with a meteor coming towards them. She has voodoo doll ones, which I got. And she does really cool things. So I still had to limit myself. But it was one of those, I'm like, I have some cushion in my budget right now. I'm trying to put my money towards smaller businesses and cool stuff, and she happened to plan a restock, so I got myself some cool shit. I'm just going to be drooling over my awesome mugs and her really, really lovely artistry. She makes such cool shit. So, I got that. I'm very excited. I kind of collect mugs. Not like I have a nice display, I see a cool mug and I want it. Do the same thing generally when I visit a place. I'm like, what kind of mugs you got? Do you got mugs? So, I will likely grow up to be one of those people who has a kitchen with no two pieces of drinkware actually match. They're all just weird ass mugs. I have a lot of mugs. I keep my makeup brushes in mugs too. I will do a little quick makeup brush mug tour in a second. They're so pretty. It has, it's got coffee in it, so I can't show you too much, but it has, this nice inner thing. It's got dimension. It's got little stars on the side. It's so cool. And it's a flying saucer alien abducting a cat. Ah! She makes such cool shit. it also feeds into my highly specific love of just like weird domestic shit that is also not status quo. Like, yeah, there used to be mugs with funny sayings, but this is a gorgeous, handcrafted, uniquely shaped mug with an alien on it. And, like, a really cool handle, too. Like, this handle is very cool. Very cool. Same way I love needlepoint that is snarky sayings. We'll let the hair down. And I'll show you some mugs while I decide what kind of lip I want, because I don't know what kind of lip I want. Yes, it is dirty. Yes, it is still kind of wet. No, I don't care enough to do anything with it today. So, I have my mugs in this sweet octopus mug, which I believe was a gift from my friend Kara. At least one of my octopus mugs is from Kara. I think it might be the other one. I have this sweet "Don't let the bastards grind you down" quote mug, which was what I brought to the office so I could have a curse mug that nobody knew what it said. Have this mug full of mascara and eyeliners and lip liners, because I have so many of them. And then, ooh, back there, have another cool octopus mug. I think this is the one from Kara, or they're both from Kara. Kara buys me mugs because she knows me. This one holds all my loose pigments. That's just what's in reach. I have a lot. I have a lot of mugs everywhere. You can't see, but I have some back there. I made a point to get all 3 iterations of the name of my previous company, because it was LDI Pharmacy. It was bought out by Diplomat, so I had to get a Diplomat mug. And then they rebranded it as Castia, so I said Castia mug. So now I have the LDI mugs that were supposed to be destroyed. I got a couple of those, at least one, because I have one propping up in my window over there. I had to get, they gave us Castia mugs for one holiday thing, and then they gave us Diplomat mugs for a different holiday thing. So those 2 were things I was supposed to have. The LDI mugs were part of, supposedly all the LDI stuff was supposed to be, like, disposed of, smashed, burned when they did the name change, and people didn't do that, so that means it was available for me to be like, is anybody gonna notice if I take this mug home? No? Okay. I asked a bunch of people first. I was like, hey, can I steal a mug? And they're like, we don't give a shit. It's just a mug in our kitchen for public use. I'm like, so you won't notice one LDI mug missing? That was a lot of fun. I need to make a lipstick. Since I just talked about lip brushes, we'll go ahead and use one of the ones that I have in a pot with my new lip brush. We will use Sake, which is a bite lipstick. I melted in here because it was getting squishy in the heat. And my new lip brush, which I think still has, oh, I thought it was going to hold the product I had yesterday, but apparently this just wipes clean pretty easily. That is good to know, because I don't really like cleaning lip products. They don't, eyeshadow and powder products and stuff like that, even cream shadows, don't really get into lip products the same way. Don't get into brushes the same way lip products do. So yeah, this is something I am willing to do for certain shades, and because this is a travel lip brush. If I was selling makeup, I would not sell it in pots. Especially because a lot of lip products are not the right formula for pots. so happy with that mug. I'm happy with all my mugs. I had a pie plate that I think is in storage right now because I had it at the boyfriend's for any time we wanted to make pies. And he put a bunch of stuff into storage until we find a house. It was another gorgeous, just a lovely ceramic pie plate. I fucked up the line on that side. And lip brushes are really nice if you're good at creating nice clean lines. I am not, and that is just going to have to do for now because I'm about to go eat lunch in like 10 minutes anyway, so I shouldn't make perfect lips because I'm about to eat through my lip product. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me with my rambles. I think the look turned out really, really nice. It's slightly different than the look I was trying to recreate, but when I go through those smaller pans of the other shades that I really liked, I have a backup. I do really like just little surprise turquoise. And apparently lots and lots of mugs. It's so cool. So happy. Little kitty cat. Kitty cat. I'm gonna go because I'm just sitting here talking about mugs, which nobody came here to that channel for, so I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow. As of right now, I don't have a back to work date, so we're just going to keep doing makeup until they tell me to come back to work, and even then we're going to do makeup when we can. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!